morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular podcast, Corporate Beyond Stories. As always, with you is me, Kat. 안녕하세요. And then we have Baruch.
Hello, hello, hello.
And we have Kolach.
Dobre ráno. Good morning, everyone.
You would not believe, but me and Baruch, we literally just a few days ago arrived from South Korea. I have learned brand new words. And then just some fun fact. I had no idea they have two different words for a temperature, or how to say, like a hot or cold, or actually three. They have three words. And I've been asking at the coffee shop for, I use the word for measuring room temperature. And I was wondering why they are always giving me this perplexed face. And then they actually use the Konglish, like hot, ice. So learning every day was pretty funny. So we had fun. And it was a blast. And we have a pretty good jet lag right now. So it's going to be fun.
You said Konglish, like Korean English?
There. Konglish. So they use like English words, but with the Korean pronunciations, like Helseklappe, ice, hot, donut. I love Konglish. Copy.
Which is coffee.
It sounds like when Slovaks are trying to speak English, like just talk slowly, loudly, and very, very with a huge expression.
Korean is very expressive, yes.
Yeah,
okay. Do we have any fun facts?
Wasn't it about those 3 types of temperatures in Korean?
Well, that was a pretty funny, I have to say.
Okay, I can try one. So I will do this non-sleep deep rest. Fun fact. So
non-sleep deep rest.
Okay, it's interesting. Go on.
Yeah. So there is a saying that you can take a nap during the day, which boosts your energy. They call it a power nap. You just went for a 20-minute sleep and then you go on. The interesting thing is that what can boost your energy more is to take this nap, but not sleeping. So it's called non-sleep deep rest, that you don't fall asleep. You are fully conscious. It's that you do this mindfulness exercise where you scan your body, focus on breathing and everything like that. There are a few exercises out there which you can try for this. So, and for this 20 minutes, and this can boost your energy more because when you're napping, you turn off your system and there you go. And your parasympathetic nervous system turns on and you start relaxing and everything. With this non-sleep deep rest, what is the difference is that actually you are getting the relaxed state, but on top of that, you have awake mind, which triggers dopamine dose. And with extra dopamine, you get much more energy than you get the extra kick. So don't do power napping, go for non-sleep deep rest.
It all sounds good, but I'm just wondering if this is just some other marketing trick that, we just gave a meditation new name.
I don't think that it's not the same as meditation. Meditation is usually about the ohms and everything like that.
Well, there are too many types of meditations, like many types of.
There might be. This is this non-sleep deep rest is coming out from the biological, neurological perspective, whatever you call it. So it's just that.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I need to Google. What's the term again?
Non-sleep, like you are not sleeping, but you are having a deep rest.
Okay.
Non-sleep deep
I'll
rest.
Google that.
I think it's worth to try it now when we have such a bad jet lag. Like afternoon around 3 p.m., my brain is like shut down. I think I'm gonna try it just to see how it works.
Yeah, the one which I've done consisted of breathing exercise. So first I focused on breathing, and then it was a body scan in the terms of a light bulb. That the voice or who guided me through earphones was that first put the light bulb on your head and feel everything there, and then move with the light bulb somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else. And with that, I've had this body scan done. So there are multiple exercises for that. I believe there is more of those out there, and you need to try them to see which fits you best.
Today's topic, because we just traveled with Baruch, and we were talking also on the plane, we haven't done something in these almost 3 years that we are doing this podcast, and that's a preparation for business trip or business trip as such, right? And it consists of numerous points that needs to be considered, whether it's benefits and impact of the business trip, accommodation, logistics, meetings, cultural aspects, expenses, or even when you receive a visit and how to prepare for that part. So not necessarily even when you go on a business trip, but when a business trip arrives to you, let's say that way. And today I'd like to start talking about the accommodation and logistics. As I believe all three of us were on business numerous times on a business trip, am I right?
Yeah, I was there. I had these
numerous ones, yes.
So
we were the lucky ones.
Let me ask you this. Did you, from the perspective of accommodation or logistics, did you had any, can I use the word fuck ups? It's our podcast. I can use whatever I want.
Like you can use that. It's just that, no, I don't remember any fuck ups. Okay. So that's the thing. I've had everything smooth when it comes to those business trips.
Okay, Kolas was lucky one. So have you made a mistake, or maybe you were just not aware, or you didn't have anything?
Nope.
Baruch?
Well, I believe I'm the one who took most business trips from three of us, if I'm not mistaken. Could be, right?
She
Finally,
flexing.
Something.
She's
no, not
flexing.
I'm just going to try. I'm just trying to excuse my presence of fuck ups there. There were definitely fuck ups in mine. The worst one was when I lived in China, and there was this. You need to annually refresh your working visa. And that's where your passport stays with the local office. And I was supposed to go on a business trip at the time when my passport was held. So unfortunately, my business trip had to be postponed.
Was there a cost connected to this? Like you thought?
Not really, not at that time. But the problem was I was supposed to travel with other two colleagues. Mm-hmm. So I basically couldn't go with them. Which was the main idea, that I will go with them because the other two colleagues didn't have any business trip experience, and I was supposed to be there with them. So yes, that's quite a major fuck up.
Okay, so let's start a little bit from the beginning, right? So when you realize, or your boss or whoever tells you you are going for a business trip, many companies use different tools, and there is one tool that is, for example, used across numerous companies, which is called Concur. But of course, there are others, and usually that tool serves you for ordering flight tickets, hotel booking, car rentals, and sometimes depends on the license of the tool. You can even learn like what everything you need for the business trip preparation. So for example, for me, when I was flying to China, you had to have things like invitation letter written in Chinese with some stamps that I had to have prior to the business trip to take to the China embassy. And without that letter, I wouldn't be given visa, for example. And so these are the crucial points that you would find out or should find out on those tools. And in case your company doesn't have such a tools, you need to make sure that not only you then have to go separately on a different pages, whether it's a car rental, whether it's a hotel booking, you have to go to the page embassy of the specific country and check the correct visa, whether it's a travel visa, business visa, whatever visa, and then what are the prerequisites for it. And also, sometimes it's important to learn and read how much time you need for all of that preparation. Because if someone just tell you, okay, fly to China tomorrow, impossible. Because just to get the letter and the visa, if I remember correctly, it took about 3 weeks until even getting the visa. So it wasn't possible just to fly from one day to another. So it's very important to really learn those aspects, whether you need invitation letter, or as Baruch was just flying to Morocco, not only she needed invitation letter, but also visa letter. So there are a few other letters that you need to get. So it's very, very important. Or same was for us. We were just flying to South Korea, even though that wasn't a business trip, it was vacation, but we needed visa as well. And when we entered the airport, and the security was checking our visa and started to ask us questions like, for how long are you going? And when are you coming back? Again, a fun fact. And they were like, and what will you do once you get back? And I looked at him, going back to work. And he was like, oh, I am so sorry. So, yeah, you need to be really well prepared, right?
There are also other thingies within the countries which might be specific, like bringing specific foods, or actually not bringing specific foods. I think that Australia, you can't bring some like apples or whatever, something specific.
Nothing
when
fresh.
It comes,
yeah.
Nothing fresh. Yeah. So just because between the continents. And another thing which you need to be mindful about are diseases. In special countries, you need to get extra vaccinations when you're getting there. So be mindful about that as well. Because the business trips are really global, so you can be flying to Zimbabwe or Venezuela or I don't know where, and there might be something really, really nice waiting for you, and you don't want to catch it. And that's, I think, everything. And actually, I can't think of anything else. Like this fruit stuff, technological stuff. Be mindful about that as well. Technology can be troublesome or on the airports.
And especially if you are at the airport, you need to also have ready, for example, address of your hotel where you're staying. Even if it's just your temporary stay and you might change the hotel, but the first hotel you stay in, because even pre-COVID, wherever I flew, they always ask, where are you staying? And you had to put it down in the form. So you need to have that ready right away.
Also, what you need is to have, if you have the invitation letter, or even if you don't have an invitation letter, have somebody's local phone number and name ready. One of your colleagues, preferably. And if you have that invitation letter, it's probably best if it's that person on the invitation letter who's inviting you.
And two more also major parts. Check your passport validity based on the country, because some countries have, for example, that your passport needs to be still valid for upcoming 6 months by the time you are leaving the country. And again, depends on the country you are coming from. You can have more than just one passport. So like in our case, you can have 3 or 4 passports as an example. And if you ask why is that, because Sometimes you might travel to countries and those two countries don't like each other. And if you would have a visa stamp from that country, they would not allow you to enter to the other country. So that's why you can have more than just one passport. The second one, if you have, for example, driver's license, like I have my European one, right? And normally my travel experience is that's accepted everywhere. But some countries are very strict and they will only require from you your international driver's license. And
as we learned, yes.
As we learned, the hard way, that check the validity of your international driver's license. Apparently here in Slovakia, it's only valid for 1 year. So we didn't get the car rental, so I lost some money. Stupid of me, but well, that's the way it is. You learn it the hard way. So also make sure you check all of those validities. It's very important. Because at the end, what can happen, like in our case, we didn't get the car, I lost some money on it, or they will not let you in the country because of your passport validity, even though it still can be valid for another 6 months or 1 year, but just because of the rules of the country. And suddenly you have everything prepared, paid for everything, and boom, they will not let you in. So that would really suck.
Yeah, and then there are insurances.
Oh, yes.
And then there are insurances. So go for insurance when it comes to luggages, health, whatever else you think might be good. It doesn't cost that much if you go for a short trip. And it may be, if you're using some company cards, it might be included directly in there. So, but just make sure that you have these insurances done and checked.
Plane tickets, refunds as well within the insurance. Especially like in our case, we now paid over 1,000 euro per ticket. Definitely worth if something would happen to me or Baruch, that we would get the money back, because that's quite a lot of money. I wouldn't want to lose that. So definitely worth to get the insurance for sure. And then if we talk about the accommodation, so again, depends on the company you work at, different allowance of accommodation you are allowed to have. So usually those tools automatically offer you, because sometimes companies might already have some specific discounts, agreements with the hotel chains, and that's already offered through that tool. Of course, if you travel just by yourself, you just check anything you can afford. Maybe you have some preferences, right?
My preferences definitely doesn't meet what I can afford. That's the sorry part about it. That's the sad part about it.
Actually, you know what? If you would go to Dalian, to Shangri-La Hotel, that's something you can afford and it would meet your expectations or preferences, because that's one of the most luxurious hotel I ever been at. And it's very affordable for us.
Yes, very,
very. So
interesting.
Yeah. You just only need to buy a ticket to China.
Yes. So next time I will go to Dalian.
Exactly. Go to Shangri-La. No ad, we are not paying for the ads, but you are welcome.
But we can be, if, like Shangri-La, if you are listening to us, there is tell us, we can make a deal, whatever.
No, but that was really one of the most luxurious hotel I've ever been at. And again, depends on, maybe it is a preference, or for example, in my case, I have to have breakfast in the morning because of my blood pressure and everything. So whenever I am booking any accommodation, I check also the breakfast meal included. Or, for example, when I went on a business trip to Austin, we had at the campus, directly in the office, an excellent canteen with very cheap breakfast. And it was way worth to actually not have breakfast in the hotel, but start the breakfast at the office. Also from price perspective. And actually what happened was that we then met as a whole team. First, we had breakfast at the canteen, and then we start the meeting. So double check all of your possibilities and then book based on that.
This is where it pays off to know those local people, those local colleagues. They will really help you with the research.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to food, be mindful about food, because it may not be what you expect. And it comes not just the food, but for the drinks as well. For example, here in Slovakia, we have drinkable water from tap as well. It's not common that all the countries have that. Somewhere you need to buy the water or whatsoever. Be ready again that you may have obstacles there or challenges when it comes to that. So you can end up with your own food from home, like you make schnitzel at home with the bread.
Your mom's sandwich.
Whatever. Yeah. Or you come with the rolls and pashteta. I have no clue how to say that. Pate. I don't think that they will imagine the same pate we have here. Anyway, so there is a lot of things you can be mindful about when it comes to food and drinks as well. Again,
but that just reminded me also part of the logistics. Take the correct medicines with you. So, like you said, be mindful of what's happening in the country. So you can have tablets against diarrhea, but something that works for you from your own country. Sometimes it can happen that those tablets will not work in that specific country and you will need to get the local ones. But even when me and Baruch just went now, even for vacation, I had really lots of medicines like from Paralen in case one of us would have a temperature, if in case we would have headache, in case we would get a diarrhea, or in case we would get a very high stomach acid, because I knew we're going to a country with lots of spicy food. So I was prepared really literally for anything and everything. It will not take too much space of your luggage. It's maybe like that much, but that's another part you definitely need to think of, because you never know what happens. And if your colleagues are not nearby and you don't know the local language, as an example, then you would enter pharmacy, but no one could help you because you don't know the language and they don't know the language. So you wouldn't be able to help yourself right away. So definitely that's another part. Have it ready. Think of it.
Yeah, like wherever I go, no matter if it's business trip or not, I just take the pills for stomach aches. That's the most important, and for headaches and pains in general.
Yeah. And if you want to be on a safe side, just buy bottled waters, just to be on the safe side. Have enough of water. I was surprised one night when Baruch between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. drank 1.5 liters of water. I was looking at her like, what is going on? And I was making sure we have enough of water or drinks during the day. And I was like, Baruch, are you okay? Will you now go pee all night long, or what's happening? So she surprised me. But yeah, have enough water, enough bottled water, and just be safe. And specifically avoid ice cubes, because you don't know from which type of water ice cubes are made of. So avoid it, just to be, again, on the safe side. I think we covered everything from the logistics and accommodation. In case we forgot something and you listeners have your own experiences, please leave us a comment. It's a word for us, then we can include it to the next episode. And as a recommendation, just gonna highlight that if you don't have your company tool or page where you search for this information, not only go to travel pages or embassy pages, but try to speak to people who already been in that country, because you might have forgot something and those people might remind you of what else is needed. So just double check with people who visited the country. That way you can really cross-check everything.
And if they are from the same country as you, that's even better.
Exactly. And with that said, 수고하셨습니다.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, bye bye.
This podcast represents our own opinions, experience, and our own ideas. We do not represent any official statement from our employers, and this is not their official channel representing the company.
Oh my God, Becky just farted. Why me? Becky. Guys,
That was also a fun fact.